How y'all doing? This is another episode of Notable Prisons and the inmates that occupy them. You feel me? What I'm gonna need y'all to do is get your lighters ready. But we ain't gonna be talking about smoking no one in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, but what I do need you to do is buckle up because we about to take a trip down south to Mexico. So, you ain't gotta get your lighters ready, but you could get you a Tecate light ready or something. Anyways, so on this episode we'll be covering Federal Social Readaptation Center number 1. And basically what this place is, it's a federal prison in Mexico. It's a maximum security federal prison. It's called originally it was called Penal de Maxima Seguridad number 1. Almoloya de Juarez, and it was later renamed to the Federal Social Readaptation Center number 1, La Palma. La Palma. But anyways, the prison was built between 1980 and 1990 under the then President Carlos Salinas, and it received its first inmates in November 1991. Of significant concern to the Mexican authorities is the risk that the prison could be attacked from the outside as a part of an organized prison break. Therefore, the walls have been reinforced to as much as 1 meter in thickness to discourage ramming. Furthermore, the airspace near the facility is restricted, and the authorities claim that the cell phone transmissions are limited within 6.2 miles of the prison. So, between the inmates and their colleagues outside, additional armored personnel carriers are based near the facility, protected during potential assault. This prison was thought to be impenetrable until July 11th, 2015, when El Chapo, big Chapo, you know what I'm saying? Big Chapo escaped through a tunnel. But, according to a few people in the comments, Chapo wasn't the number one person. I think they say it was like a who's they say it was? El Mayo, El Mincho, or something like that. I'm not sure, but I've heard a lot about those names. But anyways, let's get into the list of folks who are there. Now, mind you, this is definitely the Trapper edition of these episodes. Okay, so first off, El Padrino, El Jefe de Jefes, Miguel, Angel, Félix, Gallardo. I ain't gonna lie, Narcos did not put me up on this guy. I've been hearing his name, hearing about him. I always heard legend and stories. Growing up in Southern California, I have a gang of homies who are from Tijuana, Michoacan, Sinaloa, and Nayarit, and so on and so forth. So when I go to these people's houses and I party with them and drink with them, and you got some OGs there, you start to hear some stories, some crazy stories that I would never repeat. But let me tell you, I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, he's the founder of the modern Mexican drug trade, the former leader of the Guadalajara cartel, and one of the first Mexican cartels, which was formed as an alliance of the Sinaloa cartel, the Tijuana cartel, and the Juarez cartel. The cartel had connections to Medellin and Cali cartel, and that is how they, that's how they got that. That's how they got that work to where it needed to be at. You know, everyone had a role, and they all played it very well. But anyways, Miguel, he was sentenced to 37 years, and yeah, he's incarcerated. Actually, I think he got out, and he was out, but then they just picked him up recently. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was either him or it was the other guy, Rafael Quintero. One of them two, I know, they was released and the feds just picked him back up again. But anyways, yeah. But anyways, his issue was because he was charged. Basically, if Kiki Camarena didn't die, he probably wouldn't have had as much heat on him. But because Kiki died, the feds put heat on him as if he did it. I'm sure he didn't do it. I don't know, but I'm sure he didn't. And because they can't figure out who did do it, they're going to put the blame on, Jefe de Jefes, a.k.a. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. But, yeah, nonetheless, R.I.P. Kiki. And free the OG if he's still behind them walls. You know what I'm saying? Next up, we have Rafael Caro Quintero. Caro Quintero. So, let me tell you a little something about him. Oh, no, this is actually who I was talking about that got rearrested. But anyways, he's a Mexican drug lord who co-founded the Guadalajara cartel with Miguel and Felix Gallardo and other drug traffickers in the 70s. He is the brother of the fellow drug trafficker Miguel Caro Quintero and founder and former leader of the defunct Sonora cartel. He being that he formed the Guadalajara cartel, he worked with Gallardo, Ernest Francesco Carrito, and Pedro Avila Perez by shipping large amounts of marijuana to the United States. If none of y'all seen Narcos, you should check it out. They cover these guys extremely well. He was responsible for the kidnapping of the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, Kiki Camarena. Cameroon's pilot Alfredo Zavalar, the American writer John Clay Walker, and Dennis Albert in 1985 after the murders, Carl Quintero fled to Costa Rica but was later arrested and extradited back to Mexico, where he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Following his arrest, the Guadalajara cartel disintegrated and its leaders incorporated into the Tijuana cartel, Sinaloa cartel, and Juarez cartel. But get this. He was freed from jail on August 9, 2013 after a state court concluded that he had been tried improperly. However, amid pressure from the United States government to rearrest him, a Mexican federal court issued an arrest warrant against him on August 14th. So, Quintero, he was wanted for his involvement in a drug trafficking as well as the 1985 murders. He was at large as a wanted fugitive in Mexico, the United States, and several other countries. The United States offered a $20 million reward for information leading to his capture. And let me tell you something. If I went somewhere and I seen this man and I knew there was a $20 million reward on him, I would turn away and leave. I would not. No, that's something you just don't do. You know? It's not my business. That's not what I do. I'm not an officer. I'm not here to, so. But I'm sure that no one got that because I think the feds picked him up. But anyways, he was the highest value fugitive on the list, like in today's times. Because before that, it was Bin Laden. I think they only wanted like two meal tickets for his ass. But anyways, he lost his appeal to avoid extradition to the United States March 27, 2021. And he was arrested in Mexico July 15th, 2022. And so there's a damn good chance they will send him to, ADX Florence, Colorado. They're going to send him to Supermax. Next, we have Hector Luis Palma Salazar. On June 2nd, the United States sanctioned Palma under the Foreign Narcotic Kingpin Act for his involvement in drug trafficking, along with 6 others, international criminals, and 3 entities. The act prohibited U.S. citizens and companies from doing any kind of business activity with him. So basically, what this guy was known for was, drug trafficking. So, let me tell you a little bit something about Hector. He is a Mexican former drug trafficker and the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, along with Chapo, Big Chapo. After the brutal murder of his family ordered by his boss, Miguel Félix, Palma engaged in a string of vicious crimes to avenge his lost ones. Palma was arrested on June 23rd, 1995, and extradited to the United States, where he served a jail sentence until June 2016. He was then deported back to Mexico and charged with double homicide for having murdered two Nayarit police officers back in 1995. Palma is currently incarcerated at Altiplano Prison near Mexico City. And he is serving what appears to be life in prison. They probably ain't gonna let him out no time soon. Next, we have Chapo. Everyone knows about Chapo. He obviously was locked up at this place. He didn't dig his way out. His workers dug him out with a tunnel. He was free. Sean Penn did the interview with him, and which led to him getting rearrested. Sean Penn didn't get him arrested, but by him doing that video, that was a lot of they used that to like look at the mountains and all that type of shit to figure out where he was at, and yeah, so that kind of happened. Free Shorty. Next up,